Okay, we're continuing on in John chapter 4. We're going to start with verse 43. So this is after the woman at the well. But after 2 days he went out from there and went away into Galilee, which is where he was originally headed for when he went through Samaria. For Jesus himself testified that a prophet has no honor. Kind of dark. In his own native place. Therefore, when he came into Galilee, the Galileans received him, seeing all things which he did in Jerusalem at the feast, because they also went to the feast. Then Jesus came again to Cana of Galilee, where he made the water into wine. And there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick in Capernaum. So he's in Cana, and this guy's son is in Capernaum. Hearing that Jesus was coming from Judea into Galilee, this one went out to him and asked him that he would come and heal his son, because he was about to die. Then Jesus said to him, "Unless you see signs and wonders, you will not at all believe." The nobleman said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." So he basically ignores that little test or whatever was going on there. Jesus said to him, "Go, your son lives." And the man believed the word which Jesus said to him and went away. Apparently he passed that one. But already as he was going down, his servants met him and reported, saying, "Your child lives." He then asked from them the hour in which he had gotten better, and they said to him, "Yesterday at the 7th hour the fever left him." So the 7th hour is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then the father knew that it was at that hour in which Jesus said to him, "Your son lives." And he himself and his whole household believed. So now, first he believed what Jesus said, that your son is well, and then when he saw that that actually happened, now he believes into Jesus and also his family. Again, this second miracle Jesus did, coming from Judea into Galilee. This is making me want to look back and see what they're referring to, but so it says they received him because they saw what he did at the feast. So remember that at the feast he had cleared out the temple from the money changers and the animal sellers. But it does say that he was doing miracles there and people were believing into him. That was in John chapter 2. Okay. But now he's coming back from Judea, from the Passover feast, into Galilee. And in Galilee, before he went to the feast, that was the first miracle that he had done in Galilee, was turning the water into wine in Cana. So this is the second one that he did when he came back from Judea into Galilee. So in the first miracle, in turning water into wine, it's like he showed himself to be Lord of time, because he compressed time. And, because to make wine, it takes years to grow the grapevine and then get the grapes ripe enough, mature enough, and then you smash them, and then you have to ferment the juice, and it takes years. And Jesus made it in an instant. So he's the Lord of time. And I learned this from Joseph Prince. I didn't come up with this. And then this second miracle that he did when he came back into Galilee, he was the Lord of space, because he didn't have to be there where the sun was, because the sun was in Capernaum and they were in Cana. And he just said, go, your son lives. And so it was a long distance miracle because he didn't have to be there. So he's Lord of space. He's Lord of time and he's Lord of space. Okay, John chapter 5. After these things, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. And so this is the next feast. And at Jerusalem, because the Jews have 3 major feasts every year, and all the males have to go up to this feast. That's the requirement of the law. So they have Passover, and they have Feast of Tabernacles, and I'm trying to think what the 3 main ones are. Passover. Oh, Shavuot, I think, is Pentecost. I think that might be one of them. They have a lot of feasts, but there's like 3 main ones that everyone has to go up for. And in Jerusalem is a pool at the sheep gate, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda. That's the Greek version of Bet Chesed, which is house of loving kindness, house of favor. Having 5 porches, number of grace. It's the house of grace, and it's the number of grace of how many porches it has. So, because chesed is grace or favor or loving kindness. We don't really have a word. We don't really have a word like that, so we have a hard time like interpreting it. But that's basically what it is. So in these 5 porches, there was a great multitude of the infirm. Then that word just means feeble or strengthless. So in some way or another. So then it lists what kind of infirmities they had. A great multitude of the infirm lying there. Blind ones, lame ones, withered ones, awaiting the stirring of the water. Because an angel from time to time would come down into the pool and stir and agitate the water. Then the one who first entered after the agitation of the water became well from whatever disease he was held by. I think that's interesting that they put it that way. Whatever disease was holding him down. That's what that Greek word means. So seeing disease as a bondage that Jesus came to set you free from. But a certain man was there, being in infirmity or feebleness 38 years, seeing him lying and knowing that he had already spent much time, Jesus said to him, "Do you want to become well? Do you want to become healthy?" The infirm, the weak one, this feeble one, answered him, "Sir, I do not have a man, that when the water is agitated he may throw me into the pool, but while I am coming, another goes down before me." Throw me in, just throw me in. I'll be fine. Yeah, I think another account might have said that he was paralyzed. I can't remember for sure. Anyways, so Jesus said to him, "Get up, take up your cot, and walk." And instantly the man became well, and took up his cot or his mattress, and walked. The Greek word means mattress, but I'm sure it wasn't like our kind of mattress. It was probably much thinner kind of a mattress. But so he picked it up, and where are we at? Instantly the man became well and took up his mattress and walked, and it was a Sabbath that day. For this reason, the Jews said to the one having been healed, "It is a Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to lift up your mattress." He answered them, "The one making me well, that one said to me, 'Lift up your mattress and walk.'" Then they asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Lift up your mattress and walk'?" They didn't care that he healed him. They just were mad that he told him to work on the Sabbath. That's how much they idolized the law. But he did not know the one who cured him, because a crowd being in that place, Jesus had withdrawn. So that's the interesting thing about Pharisees, even today. when people get healed or delivered, they're just mad because you didn't do it right. Why would God do this? Why would God do that? They just want to judge God instead of being happy that he's good and he loves people, and they want to put all these rules and disqualify people, and yeah. So don't fall into that trap. Just rejoice in God's goodness. That's what you're supposed to do. After these things, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "Because, behold, you have become well. Do not sin any more, so that something worse doesn't happen to you." So in this particular case, this infirmity had came on him because of something he had did. And that's not a, like, one-size-fits-all thing at all, because remember the blind man, we'll get to that later, but his disciples said, "Who sinned, this man or his parents?" He was born blind. Like, how could he sin while he was still in his mother's womb? But anyway, silly. But Jesus said, no, neither one, because he was born this way so that the glory of God could be shown in him when I heal him, so that people can see God's goodness and power. So, but in this man's case, he felt the need to tell him, don't do that thing again, whatever he did that made him get that infirmity. So the man went away and told the Jews that Jesus is the one making him well, and because of this the Jews persecuted Jesus, and they plotted to kill him because he did these things on a Sabbath. So he's healing people, and they're so mad they want to kill him. That's Phariseeism for you. But Jesus answered them, "My Father works until now, and I work." Because of this, therefore, the Jews lusted even more to kill him, because not only did he break the Sabbath, but he also called God his own Father, making himself equal to God. So they're just nitpicking him half to death, but he doesn't care. Because he just is not moved by their opinions. Then Jesus answered and said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, the Son is not able to do anything from himself, except what he may see the Father doing. Because whatever that one does, these things also the Son does in the same way. Because the Father loves the Son, and shows to him all things that he does, and he will show him greater works than these, in order that you may marvel." So, and when Jesus was giving his last speech at the Last Supper, he said to his disciples, excuse me, that's not what he said. He said, "The works that I do, like whoever believes into me, the works that I do, he will do, and greater works he will do, because I go to the Father." And the idea was, I'm going to the Father, and the Father's going to pour out his Holy Spirit on you, and you're going to live exactly how I've showed you how to live. Because Jesus showed us how to live. He was the firstborn of the new humanity that's like restored, like the new creation humanity, where that's how the demons knew him, because he had that light. You know, when you're a new creation, your spirit turns back on, and that light is seen in the spirit world, and the demons knew because he was the only one that had his light back on. And that Adam and Eve had before they fell, they had this light. You know, they had this light that they didn't know they were naked, because there's just this radiance coming out of them from their spirit. And that radiance, that light went out when they chose law instead of grace, when they chose the tree of the knowledge of good and evil instead of the tree of life. And Jesus came to restore that light and to turn our light back on. And that's why it says, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Everything has become new. You are reborn. He talked about being born again in John 3. We looked at that. Your spirit, your light comes back on because you're born again. Like you have a new start. You start all over again. It's like you're a new creation. And so your light comes back on. But before Jesus died on the cross, he was the only one that had his light on. That's why they all knew. Anyone that could see in the spirit knew. And the Pharisees didn't see in the spirit because they were too religious. But anyway, I think we're going to close. That's 15 minutes. So hope this was helpful. Bye.